all you ladies pop your pussy.
Your reputation's deceased.
Hey internet people, I'm Skai, and I hate to put myself on the internet chronically online problems, but here we are, exploring horrible actions of Colleen Ballinger, if that's even how you pronounce her last name. Wait, I'm actually gonna look, how do I pronounce this?
Colleen Ballinger has actually properly responded.
Okay, Colleen Ballinger, I guess, aka Miranda Sings.
Hi sisters!
And it's not even online drama, it's an actual trauma for actual children or teenagers. I don't want to come off as this woke, traumatized, mentally ill teenager online because I'm not a teenager and I'm also not woke. But I did experience severely dark and twisted grooming at the age of 11 and was quite messed up in the head up until now that I'm actually like realizing, okay, this was going on, that was not normal, this was not normal. So I do kind of feel like commenting on this whole Colleen situation, like her being an online groomer and her apology video. That's not okay, we'll get into it, but to sum it up, Colleen is a 36-year-old OG millennial YouTube star with over 10 million subscribers on her main channel, aka Miranda Sings, which is actually scary and stressful already because you must have a lot of influence over people if literally millions of people subscribe to your channel and a lot of them have a parasocial relationship with you. Oh, I cannot speak. Sorry, I'm Slavic, I have accent, but like, we'll get to it. So yeah, I'm not really in touch with Colleen's content, but I do remember her in the late 2010s. She was always blowing up on YouTube and Instagram. There were plenty of memes, and I never really understood why she was all that. I also didn't see her content, and I can't really be like, okay, I didn't like her content because I literally do not know. But I've seen this thing that is going on the internet, like her apology video blowing up, blah blah blah. And as far as I know, she's very successful social media comedian and apparently a mommy blogger, which is already a child exploitation for reasons I've listed in this video in depth, because you know, like putting a kid online, this is gonna affect the child one day when they realize what was actually going on. Thousands of strangers watching parts of their life and commenting on it. It's all online in this weird world and no privacy. Parents making money. It's psychologically, we don't even know how this will affect children because it's such a new thing parents do nowadays online. We don't even know how this will affect children when they are getting, like when they're gonna be old enough, because they are still children, because this is such a new thing. Okay, anyways, I'm rambling and repeating myself. Up until now, Colleen was this unhinged woman, like ant online on YouTube, but internet exploded with a bunch of evidence of Colleen being a groomer, basically a creepy person who messaged her underage fans, her underage followers in inappropriate ways, like sending them weird messages, trying to be wholesome and like cool millennial or something, but basically like asking them about their sexual lives. And she sent this one kid, I don't know if Adam or something, underwear. He seemed pretty affected, and he is speaking on social media that his life was ruined because of Colleen, and probably like many other people that are not online, I think. But yeah, and then there was this odd joke when she used her fan to spread, like this young girl to spread her legs in front of the full room of audience, did the sound effect or something like that. Basically like so many things. It wasn't discussed how wrong some things are. It was just, okay, this is the internet, like these things are going on, but there's such a lack of critical thinking. We're obviously progressing in this way, I think. I mean, even me looking at my old videos, the new videos, I probably don't agree with everything I'm saying. So if you're gonna check out my old videos, you can just assume that I maybe don't agree with everything right now. But yeah, we are slowly criticizing what's going on online and influencers and stuff, but Colleen is basically called out as a creep that she really is. All of those things I listed, it was like peak comedy in 2010s, like YouTube. Come on, it's just unhinged because Colleen was called out out for it. She made a video about the whole situation when she was like supposed to be apologizing, but in reality she just made a long song, her playing ukulele, I don't know how to pronounce it. She wasn't like really apologizing, she was just defending herself and apologizing about how people perceive her, not necessarily for what she did.
The only thing I've ever groomed is my 2 Persian cats. I'm not a groomer. I'm just a loser.
Honey, you can be both of those things. No, but like, it's serious. Look, I can't speak as someone who was affected by her, but I can share my views as someone who was horribly groomed at the age of 11 by a middle-aged man who was a pathological narcissist, and like it was extremely abusive, and like there's many people involved in that, and it was basically a cult, like a religious thing, and it was like in the name of God, and I literally had to deprogram my brain. Like this groomer weaponized religion against me. He wanted to control me with religion, and then he was drugging me, and I didn't know it, but I was like literally being drugged for a few years. At one point literally blacked out for a year, and he got all of my money and like was manipulating me into giving him all of my money, and like this is thousands of euros. Okay, like I was brainwashed and bombarded with abuse. So I kind of know how this grooming goes, because groomers are oftentimes very manipulative narcissists, and I don't want to throw this word around, but they have to at the start make you see them as something that they're not. They want to give you an image of them like they're so good, they're a good person, or they're so smart, and you have to perceive them in a very dramatic, in a way that they seem interesting. Colleen, for example, first of all, she made an apology video when she was basically apologizing for how people perceive her, so that's a bit narcissistic to say and make. And she also is this like social media influencer with tons of influence, so it's obvious that these children that were involved in it, they saw her, you know, as this role model, and they were like, when she was messaging them, they were probably like, oh my god, like she's messaging me, dreams come true, you know. In my case, this person isolated me and other people from society. You're emotionally vulnerable when you're young and you really don't know what's normal, what's not normal. You feel it, but you don't really categorize, okay, this is this, this is this, this is this, this is manipulation. So you kind of become attached to older people, and if they are manipulating and grooming you, you become even more attached to them, even though you feel bad, but like your brain is, okay, don't speak. They know what they're doing, or if they tell you, don't tell other people, they must know why they're telling me, I must not. It's just a bunch of manipulation for them to mask themselves and not be exposed. God knows, I mean, and victim know how deep it went with Colleen and her messaging fans. They build the relationship on trust. A child or like a teenager must trust you first in order for you to get control over them. I definitely had a lot of trust in that person, and I can kind of sympathize with those kids who were involved with Colleen. I'm not gonna, you know, I do understand how hard it is when you have this mental switch, like you see them as something, you must trust them, you must be there for them, and they convince you that they want good for you, when in reality they are pervert, like this person that I was involved with. This person literally raped people and women, and like wanted to do that to children and stuff. So and I'm putting this online. I'm kind of having a bit of a therapy session here. Like, I came here to talk about Colleen, but now I'm just trauma dumping on the internet, which is not the best thing to do, but okay, I have a fake name. Like, Skai is not my real name, so I'm just like sharing my perspective of grooming. So yeah, the most difficult thing about being a groomed teenager is like being pulled into a situation where you are almost completely clueless of what's actually going on, what behaviors are inappropriate. You don't know it yet, you don't understand it yet, like why is it? You're so young that you just haven't seen and experienced and read enough to actually understand what's going on. So you feel all those emotions, you feel there's something wrong, but you can't explain it. You're pulled into a situation that just seems normal to you at the moment. These kids that were groomed by Colleen were so young that they probably didn't have a strong sense of self, you know, in order to spot the creepiness, even though they probably felt weird that something was off. But there are so many unspoken rules that us as adults like know, like we know what to say, what not to say to a child, to an adult in a social situation. Excuse me. But children and teenagers don't know it because they are in the like whole process of learning to socialize and like the social rules and like right from wrong. They're seeing and being put in situations with different interactions in order for them to learn from their mistakes. So it's a very, oh my god, my cat is fighting, like there's a dog. I think it's my cat. I'm being distracted here. This is a vulnerable time for kids and teenagers, and I doubt that Colleen, as a 30-year-old, like 30-plus-year-old woman, did not realize that they are being vulnerable. She did realize it. She's a grown-up. Even when you're 18, you know that a 13-year-old is vulnerable because you basically were one of those 5 years ago. Like, imagine being 30 and acting like, oh, she just didn't know better. Even when you're 18, you know it's wrong to talk to minors in an inappropriate way. Okay, like let's leave a situation when like one person is like 18 and the other is 17, because you know it's basically the same. You know what I mean. Millions of kids saw Colleen as this role model who was just like more experienced as them, and they probably really saw her as a cool adult, a trustable adult. But in reality, this is just not a case. And kids are not stupid, like that's a fact. They are intelligent creatures, but they still don't know how deep adult human minds go. And if they're dealing with a narcissistic adult, that's even harder, because kids don't categorize the traits that are a part of a narcissist. Even some adults don't, but there's literal criteria. Person acting like this, doing this, thinking like this. And children, they do not know. And I'm not throwing the word narcissist around. I know exactly who is a narcissist and what does that mean. And when you are surrounded with multiple people that are like that and could be literally diagnosed, and you literally like don't know even who you are and what to believe anymore, because you have all of this information from every side, and everyone is like so focused on them and it has to be about them, not caring about other feelings, and then you're like always. So these kids trusted Colleen. We need to categorize certain human traits in order to understand what we're dealing with and how to protect ourselves. And I'm not a psychology professional here, I'm just saying my own opinion. Based on that apology video Colleen posted, she does seem quite narcissistic, because she objectively did things that were wrong and still proceeded to act like a victim in a situation, and they tend to do that. It's just gaslighting, victim blaming. It's just so clear, and I honestly think that society would really benefit if narcissism was discussed in school. So we'd either recognize who around us is a narcissist, and we wouldn't always feel stupid because being gaslighted or gaslit by them, and also if this was taught, like the person could identify their own narcissistic traits, try to work it through. That would really benefit society, because we live in a society full of narcissism. But like the most pathological narcissist doesn't see what they're doing wrong. Like they don't even have the option in their head that they see that they are in the wrong. So maybe Colleen actually think that was an apology video. Her thought process behind the like ukulele song was completely focused on her, and the most unimaginable thing about her victims is that they were pushed in a corner by the fact that Colleen had literally millions of supporters. Like imagine your groomer, like your abuser, having millions of supporters. That's so mind-blowing to think about. When you're groomed, the person who's abusing and manipulating you is trying to convince you that they are the only person that you can trust. Like they have to be the only one. So narcissistic, but no one would understand, like, I'm here for you, you know, you can't trust anybody. And it's so much harder when there's like religion over it, like God sent me, like those people are with the devil. Oh my god. I have to go to therapy. This is already so stressful for the victim, but like knowing that this person has millions of supporters, how can anyone recover from that and even step up, like go forward with their experience, especially as a teenager when every social interaction affects you a lot harder than when you're an adult. Hopefully mature enough to understand that you don't have to take everything so seriously, that you don't have to respond to everything that you see, comment on everything, take every opinion. This is maturity, like developing a sense of self. Just look at 2020's internet, like so many triggered people. I did make quite a few videos that don't even affect me. I was like, oh my god, I have to like discuss this topic on the internet, and like even now doing this. But you know, I actually have something to comment about. This is being young, you know, you're constantly bombarded with like different opinions and stuff, and even as a young adult it affects you. So imagine being a teenager that's bombarded with all of those comments, and you have this public figure. It's just hard to know like what to even believe. So these groomed kids probably felt so much shame about the situation and couldn't communicate it properly, especially if they thought that Colleen is the only person they can trust, and knowing how much influence she has over others and that they as victims are likely not to be believed. That must be really stressful. I personally know how stressful it is to be in that situation. You don't know who to turn to, and Colleen was literally like having influence over the world, like not just, you know, some people around you. So if a victim wanted to speak up, they had to do it online, because this whole situation had its roots in the online world, which was still so like new in 2010s, and it was so unquestioned. Dealing with teenagers is one type of hell when you're going through it in real life, but like going through it online where there's even less boundaries and even more people, like imagine speaking up about it and hundreds of comments of these angry teenagers defending the abuser. And I don't even know exactly how this was, because I'm not so invested that I know the whole situation, like every detail, but I'm just speaking from what came into my head when I thought about this online grooming by an online celebrity. And it's also kind of weird to think about how a kid would have to tell this thing to a parent that might not even know that their child is being in a contact with this person, maybe on the other side of the world, who have like millions of followers on social media. Imagine if a parent minding their own business, they have their own 9-to-5 job. Imagine a kid explaining them, yeah mom, like I feel like something is weird, I'm talking to this person, yeah, by the way, the whole world knows them, and they're posting one video a week that gets millions of views, and like the kid explaining that they are involved with it. How do you even explain that to parents? And even if you do explain it, you can imagine how absurd that could feel for a kid and for a parent. And also, why are these kids even so invested in Colleen? Like, why do they feel the need to be on that side of internet? Like, do they want to escape from something? And okay. Look, I know everyone uses the internet. Parents know about the internet. Kids use internet. It's entertainment. It's fun if you use it in moderation. But I mean, it's nothing new. Like, kids watch influencers, but at the same time, it's just like, why? Okay, not that why they watch it, but why are they so invested in it? Talking to influencers, like, do you not have anyone else to talk to? I mean, you idolize them, it's exciting. It's so easy to think about how these kids are pulled into it. More bullshit we fill our brain with, less boundaries we have. Online world can get so weird, and I honestly feel so out of touch even making this video. And it is like this chronicle online, thinking about, okay, making this video about this that has literally nothing to do with my physical life, but it needs to be discussed. I'm not anywhere close to relevant on this platform, but I still want to use my voice, even if it reaches only, you know, 100 people. So if you're one of my 500 subscribers watching this video, thank you for listening. And if you're new here, feel free to comment your thoughts down below, and you can like this video if you want to, subscribe if you want to, you can disagree with me if you want to, it's okay, we can have an open discussion. Skai loves you, God bless you, and I can't wait to interact with you on this platform. Bye bye.